Hi there guys, Andrew here with Aloha Quails. Today we're going to be taking another look at our quail cage that we built in the last video, linked down below. What we're going to be doing today, as promised, is putting in our feeder. So I'm going to make a feeder video, and then in a few days you guys will get the waterer video, just because it allows me to break it up and it means I can give a little bit more detail without going back and forth. So this is the feeder video. So I think my feeders a little bit different. Some people use the PVC pipe, some people use these J feeders. I like these J feeders, they are awesome, but quails are very, very wasteful. If you've ever seen a quail feed, they put their head in the food, they pick up what they want, and they shake their head side to side. And what that does is it throws feed out of the feeder. Now, if you're using a tray system to catch your waste, basically that food is gone. So what I found is for every pound of food you give quails in a regular feeder, you lose about 20% of that, give or take. So essentially you're just throwing money away. Now what I do is I modify my J feeders, and I'll show you how to do that, and it reduces that waste substantially, like to the point where I don't really notice any feed inside my cleaning trays anymore. So this is a very, very effective method, and it's almost free to do. Okay, so what you're going to need is a J feeder. I believe that this is a 6-inch, no, this is an 8-inch J feeder, which actually measures out to about 7 3/4. They do make them bigger, they do make them smaller. They do 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12-inch J feeders. Make sure if you're getting for quails, you get the one with the solid base and not the one with the mesh base. The mesh base ones are designed for rabbits. When rabbits chew up their pellets, it breaks into a powder, and that powder can fall through the bottom, and that's what that's for. So you want the solid base J feeders. You can pick these up at your feed store. I picked these up in Hawaii. I paid $9 for these 8-inch ones. The 6-inch ones that I have, I think I paid about $7 for. You can buy them on Amazon, you can buy them on eBay, but if you get them locally, they usually work out a little bit cheaper. You'll also need a cardboard box. Cereal box type cardboard works best, but you can use any type of cardboard. You're going to need tape. I'm using clear packing tape. I found that it works for me. You guys can use duct tape, 100-mile-an-hour tape, or whatever tape you want to use. You'll need a pair of scissors. You are going to need some sort of measuring device. Again, I like my yardstick. And you're also going to need a pair of wire cutters. The wire cutters are going to be to cut the hole in the side of your cage for your J feeder to fit in. To install it into your cage is very, very simple. All you gotta do is cut a hole in the side of your cage. That's 8 inches by 2 inches. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and I'll show you what it looks like once this is attached. Okay, so your J feeder comes with these little arms on the side. These are designed to be clipped onto the outside of a cage. This works exactly the same way as if you're putting it on a rabbit cage or on a quail cage. All it does is just go into the hole, and all you do is just hook the little arms onto the side. What you might want to do is just bend those arms down just a little bit more, and that'll give it a little bit more grip so it can't get knocked off by a predator. The other thing that you can do is, once you put it on, if you're going to leave it in place, is just bend the arm all the way back. So this is the arm that I'm talking about. You can bend this all the way back on itself, and it will never come off. There's two types of J feeder. This is the solid based J feeder. The other one has a mesh area on here. That's designed for rabbits. As rabbits chew the pelletized food, some of it will powder, and that mesh allows the powder to fall through. With our quails, they don't do that. They'll actually peck at that fine sort of powdery stuff, and they'll eat it. So you want the solid base feeder. So what I'm going to show you now is how to cut out your cardboard box and make your waste reducer. It's really, really simple. Once I do it, you're going to look at yourself and you're going to go, oh, why didn't I think of that? Okay guys, so here we have our cardboard box and we have our J feeder. This is really simple. I like to use a piece of the cardboard that has the foldy flap part. It just makes it a little bit easier to fit. You can make your own fold in the cardboard if you want to, but this is really simple. All you're going to do is you're going to sit this on top of your J feeder, just leave a little bit of a gap at this end so that you can fit it inside, and then all you're going to do is just mark roughly where the other side is, and all we're going to do is we're just going to cut so this is about the same width as the inside of the J feeder. So it doesn't have to be too neat, nobody's going to see this. You just want to make sure that you give yourself maybe an inch and a half or two on this side. This is where you're going to put your tape to tape it inside the J feeder. Okay, so once you have this part right here, this is basically going to fit inside the J feeder in this same position. The flap right here is going to fit down inside, and that's going to reduce the amount of food that can go into the feeder. So what you're going to do is you're just going to fit this inside, and I need to trim this just a little bit. You want to make sure that there's a little bit of a gap. That's how the food's going to get through, so it should be about there. And then this just fits inside. There you go, that's about right. So you can see how it fits in. There's a small gap right here. You can just see my fingers poking through. That basically reduces the amount of food that you can get through there, so it doesn't fill up. So when you fill this feeder, the food goes in the top and comes out here. It will fill almost all the way to the top. It's designed so that rabbits can get to it. Quails are very messy eaters. What they'll do is they'll put their head inside the food, and then they'll shake it side to side and spill food over the sides. This reduces the amount of food in there to barely crumbs, meaning that they don't have that food to waste. If you want to make an adaptation of this so that they get a bit more food in there, what you can do is just cut a couple of notches in here, and that will allow the food to fall down. Okay, so once you've got your notches cut, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to tape this inside the feeder. So all you're going to need is some tape. I use packing tape, and you're going to go ahead and just cut a couple of strips, and one is going to go along the top, and then you're going to put two more on the side. So then you're going to take this, put it inside your feeder, and tape it in place. The tape should be pretty good. It should last quite some time. I found that when it gets really wet over here and the moisture gets good, the tape might peel off. It just takes me a few minutes to go ahead and tape a new piece in. I've not had to replace any of the cardboard, just re-tape everything. So once this is in, you'll be able to see inside here you have the cardboard, you have the slots, and you have a small gap, and that's going to allow some of the food to sit inside. Now if the food becomes kind of clumped up in there, don't worry about it. The quails will still be able to see the food, they'll peck at it, and some will fall down. And also when they're moving around the cage, the vibration of the cage will make extra food fall down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go grab some food and pour it in here so you can see how this works. Okay, so we have the feeder. I have a container full of food, and as you can see, when we pour it in, we get a little bit of food in here. Not too much, not too little, but it's shallow enough to where they won't be able to shake it all over the sides. Without this cardboard deflector in here, this would fill all the way to the very top. If you think there's too much in there, you're always able to adjust your cardboard and reduce the depth, or you can reduce the notch size so it lets even less in there. But as I said, as the quails eat this, more and more will keep coming out. It's a very effective feeder, and for me, as I said, it's reduced my waste to almost nothing. So thank you guys once again. This has been Andrew from Aloha Quails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Our next video is going to be about how I do the watering system on these. It's a very common way to do the watering system, but again, it's very effective.